Here you are, hearing about investments and wanting to do it, but you have little to no money. So how can you? How can you make investments, start building your wealth when you have little to no money? How can you do so when you have less than $100 or whatever amount you have? How can you invest and start building wealth with so little money? Well, yes, you can. Yes, you can start investing with less than $100 and start building your wealth. And I'm going to help you today to do so. Number one, buy dividend paying stocks or ETFs. You can buy penny stocks, low cost stocks, or you can even use fractional shares. So, what is fractional shares? Very simple. Those stocks like Tesla and those other stocks that are high price, maybe they're at $1,000 and you don't have $1,000, you only have $100. You can buy it for $100, but you won't get all of it, of course. You're getting part of the stock. And if you keep buying it, eventually you get the entire stock. So you get a fraction of the stock. So you're still participating in the wealth building using that particular stock, even though you didn't pay the full price as others. So yes, you can invest in stocks, dividend stocks, with the little amount of money you have, with less than $100, whether via fractional shares, penny stocks, or simple low cost stocks. Many brokerage platforms now offer fractional share purchases. Many brokerages offer that now. Lower rates often encourage investment in riskier assets. So if bank rates fall, the central bank reduces the rates. It encourages you to invest in riskier assets or assets in general, simply because you have more resources to take that risk. But of course, we're talking about less than $100. So you're not going to have a lot of resources to take advantage. But you can still purchase dividend stocks with the small amount of money you have. So what are dividend stocks? Simple. When a company makes money, they share some of it with you. That's all it is. And they share it with you based on the amount you have. So for example, let's say the stock costs $1 and the company decides to share with you some of their profit at a rate of 1 cent per share. So if you spend your $1 and buy that one share, you're going to get 1 cent. And if you buy 2 shares, you're going to have 2 times 1 cent, give you 2 cents. And if you buy 5 shares, you're going to have 5 times 1 cent, give you 5 cents. And they usually pay dividends monthly, every 3 months, which is called quarterly, or annually, every 12 months. That's normally how they pay dividends. And they usually announce it 30 days or more in advance. So go ahead, buy your dividend stock with what you have and start building wealth. Number 2, you can look for bond ETFs or long duration bond funds. Now, why do you want to consider bonds? Well, bonds are attractive when the market is good. Now, how do you know when the market is good? Well, good is relative. Some people might find it good, some might not find it good. However, when interest rates fall, like when the central bank decides to drop the interest rate, bond prices, especially the longer term bonds, tend to rise. So by buying a bond ETF, which could cost less than 100 per share, you may benefit from capital appreciation. Also, some bonds have low minimums. In other words, you don't need a lot of money to invest in it. So if you only have $100, some bonds allow you to get in with that amount. Now, be aware of interest rate risk, credit risk. Longer duration, more sensitive to rate changes. So you have to monitor the market, just like in anything else. Okay, you're not gonna just put it in there and leave it. Every now and then you have to check and see what's going on in the economy, in industries, in the world. And right now the world is up and down and topsy-turvy. You never know what decisions are going to be made by world leaders, right? So you still have to monitor and do your homework before, during, and after investing. Number 3, you can consider peer-to-peer lending or micro-lending. That's something you can do with $100. Okay? That's why it's called peer-to-peer or micro-lending. Just $100. And you can do it through organizations like Kiva, or you can do it yourself, where basically you lend people who don't need much, especially in other countries, Latin American, Asian countries. 100 US goes a far way, right? While you might be looking to borrow 10 grand, they just need $100, right? Also, some African countries, it goes a far way, and you lend that money at an interest rate. You get back your money plus the interest. You can do it through organizations. Kiva, Kiva is one of those organizations, or you can do it yourself. So peer-to-peer lending is one way you can invest with less than $100. If available in your jurisdiction, you will lend small amounts to individuals or small businesses via lending platforms earning interest. You can capture a spread. So spread is basically how much you lend and how much you get back. So for example, let's say you lend $100 and interest on that $100 is 10%. Then you're going to get back $100 plus the $10. You minus 100 from there, you're going to get back $100 plus the $10. The $100 plus the $10 is now $110. But your original amount that you lend is $100. You minus 100 from the 110, you have $10 left, and that's your profit. Another thing you can do is buy or sell goods. They might call it resale arbitrage. So what is that? It's what Gary V talks about. You go to a garage sale, get something for $1. They go on eBay and sell it for $100. That's reselling. That's arbitrage. So you buy it at a lower price, sell it at a lower price. Some people do it in crypto. They go on one stock exchange, buy the crypto for example, $10. Then they go on another crypto exchange and realize, oh, this same crypto is selling for $12. So they sell it and they make $2. Now, if you have 100 of those, you can see for yourself it multiplies, right? So go ahead, use your $100 and find ways of buying things for low price and selling it back for a higher price. And that's basically how things work. You buy stocks at a low price, sell at a high price. You buy real estate at a low price, sell at the highest price. You buy your car at a certain price, you sell at a high price, etc. Yes, you can go to auctions, buy the cars for little to nothing, maybe do a bit of repairs if there's need, and sell it back at a higher price. It's called arbitrage. Now, the 5th thing you can do is leverage with options. Now, in this practice, for very small capital, you might consider speculative investments that could give amplified returns if rates fall. For example, options or derivatives play like stocks and REITs maybe can give you good returns, but the risk is high. So basically what you're doing is saying that, okay, this is gonna blow up, and people do this a lot in crypto. A coin comes out and the coin is only 0.0001 cent for it. That's very cheap. You stock up on it and you hope it goes to $1, because if it's like 0.001, based on the amount of money you have, you might end up having, let's say, 10,000 units of that crypto. And if that crypto goes to 1, that's $10,000. So you spend whatever money you have, maybe 500, 300, whatever the maths is, to get $10,000. But that is very speculative. It's the same thing with penny stocks. Might cost 20 cents, so you think it might go up to $10. So you stock up on it. And if it does go up, boom, before you know it, you have tens of thousands of dollars. But as I said before, it's very speculative, right? And when rates drop, like when central banks drop rates, people have more money because borrowing is cheap and people will take more risk. So they might just help your speculation to come through. But again, it's high risk. But with a little money that you have, less than $100, you can take the risk if you find it fitting for you. Because remember, now you have to take the risk based on you. You cannot take the risk based on Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett has billions of dollars, years of experience, plus professionals and tools helping him to make decisions. You, on the other hand, might be just starting out. So you have to go based on you and not based on others. Okay? But still, you can look at options and speculative investments on the stock market, in crypto, wherever. Some people jump into real estate. Of course, jumping into real estate with less than $100 is not exactly possible. But who knows, right? In your area, maybe you can get into what is known as tax liens, where governments just want their money, and some of these tax liens are less than $100. And if the person doesn't pay the property taxes, you might end up with an entire house for less than $100. So yes, it is possible to jump into real estate with less than $100. But of course, do your homework. Do your homework. I cannot overemphasize it anymore. Because it is only after doing your homework you're going to know what is best for you. Because at the end of the day, it is what is best for you. Not me, not the government, not Warren Buffett, not anybody else. You. Number 6, you can get exposure to real estate in another way called REITs, R-E-I-T-S. So basically, you see all those plazas, we have companies that own them. Now, of course, with $100 or less, you cannot really own them, right? But you can buy a piece of it through that company that owns it. And usually it costs like $5, $10, whatever the price is. You can do it through the stock market, as well as your private real estate investment trust. That's REITs. So go ahead, investigate it, find the ones you like, go ahead and buy it, start reaping the returns. And by law, these REITs must pay you regularly, whether they choose monthly, quarterly, or annually, but they must give you part of their profit, whatever money they make, by law. So you will be receiving money regularly. It's just like a dividend stock, except it's in real estate and it's the trust, and there's law that says they must pay out. They just decide how often and the amount, whether it's 2%, 7%, 12%, etc. Again, do your homework before investing. Another investment you can do with $100 or less is a high yield savings account, short-term fixed deposit, and term accounts. These are fixed rates. They tell you, okay, you're going to get 4% if you hold it for 1 month, 30 days, 6 months, 12 years, 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, whatever the term. That's another way to start building your wealth. That's another way to invest. Now you might be saying, well, you don't want to hold it at 4% for 3 years. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. But you have to decide for yourself. You have to decide if it's good for you or not. Maybe that 4%, 6% is great because rates might be falling in the future. So if you can lock in at 6% while rates drop at 2%, that's great for you. And of course, the opposite might happen. Inflation might be at 12% and you locked in at 6% interest rate. Now you're losing. So again, you have to decide what is best for you. Nobody else can do it for you. So take the time, educate yourself. Be like Solomon. When God told him you can get anything, Solomon said, I want wisdom. You go ahead and get wisdom, and then everything else will follow. Freelancing, side hustle, side gigs. That's another thing you can do with your $100. Like I said, Gary Vee talks a lot about going to garage sales, buying stuff for cheap, and then reselling them on eBay for a profit. So go ahead, start your side hustle. If you already have a car, you can do Uber, Lyft, you can do DoorDash, you can do Uber Eats, you can do all of these things. You can even go on Toro, where you can rent your car. You're not driving your car a lot, you can rent your car, start making money from it. You can go on these websites where you can rent spaces in your house. You can rent your pool, rent your backyard, rent your garage, rent a room. You can even get into Airbnb. So go ahead, find all these side gigs. If you're good at editing video, maybe you can edit my videos, offer the service. You can do it through websites like Fiverr. You can do it through websites like Upwork. You can do it through websites like, what's the name of that one? Don't remember the name at this time. Or you can do it directly. You can advertise through social media and Kijiji. Advertise on Craigslist. Offer your services. Advertise on Facebook and do it directly. So go ahead, use up the skills you have, use up the different side hustle opportunities, and start making that money. So far, we have covered several areas, and all of them you can do with less than $100. So you don't need millions of dollars like many people think you need to invest. You just need to do your homework, see if it's for you, and use what you have. Don't try and invest like somebody who has billions of dollars when you only have $100 or less. It's a whole different mindset, a whole different approach until you get to that stage. So don't worry about Warren Buffett spending $1 billion on a company. You spend what you can, and eventually you will get there. 9. Another thing you can invest in is gold, currency, and precious metals. Now, when central banks drop rates, it often weakens a nation's currency or make non-interest bearing assets like gold more attractive. With small capital, you might buy fractional gold via platforms or ETFs, or small amounts of other precious metals. So gold is around 2,000 something right now. That is way more than $100. But there are ETFs that invest in gold, so you can buy the ETF. Probably cost you just $5 per unit. So look at ways in which you can get involved in these assets based on where you are at. Remember, this is about where you are at. It's not about being a genius or pretending you're this great investor. You're doing it based on where you're at. You don't have $2,000 to buy gold, do it through an ETF. Right? So there are various ways you can invest in gold, precious metals, etc. And lastly, education. I spoke about it before. Education. You gotta educate yourself. You gotta have wisdom. You gotta get the information. You gotta understand the information. And then you gotta put the information in action. You understand? Before you start investing. And it doesn't matter if you have less than $100 or more than $100. Doesn't matter if you have a little bit amount of money or a lot of money. It's still the same. You must do your homework. You must educate yourself before you jump in. Don't let the pressure jumps on you. Don't let FOMO reaches you, which is fear of missing out. You're not missing anything, because these opportunities come around and around and around again. It's just that you might miss it this time, right? And even if you miss one opportunity, there are others. So do your homework, then jump. Now, a little bonus. you can invest in index funds. What are index funds? Warren Buffett talks about it a lot. Basically, you put your money in instead of picking various stocks or various investment instruments. The index funds already do that work for you. And all you do is you put in your money and you get piece of the action. Like the S&P 500 and some Vanguard type index funds that have been giving good returns. Like the S&P 500, it has a collection of all the top companies on the stock exchange, and they are usually American companies. So instead of you trying to figure out which companies they already have done the work for you. And because they are the top companies, overall they usually perform well. So instead of you trying to find out which are the top companies and which one gonna perform well, you just put it in an index fund where you have a collection of them, and overall you usually do well. So even if one or two fall short, is declining, you're gonna have another one or two that are doing well, and they might do so well that they override the decline and give you a positive return. So you can also consider index funds like the S&P 500 and other index funds that are out there. So don't be dismayed. Don't think because you have $100 or less you're out. You cannot invest. You cannot take part in what is happening. Yes, you can. There's crypto, there's stocks, there's REITs, there's peer-to-peer lending, there's arbitrage where you can go to garage sales, buy and sell on eBay, etc. You can offer your services, your skills. There are things that you know that others want. There are things that you can help people with that others want help with. Whether it's shopping, whether it's Ubering, whether it's transportation, whether it's editing videos, you can do it. Whether it's managing their social media account, people are busy, they don't have time to deal with social media, you can do it. And some people are making so much money, they no longer want to be sitting down doing things on social media, so you can do it for them. So go ahead, use what you can. Don't worry about the money you have. Use what you can now to get to where you want to get to, because you have to start. And that's what kills most people. They don't start. They're working on the perfect environment when there's no perfect environment. Here I am. The sun is out, but it is chilly. What am I supposed to do? Wait until it is summer next year? Nope. I want to get the message out so that those who need to hear it, hear it. So go ahead, man. Use what you have, invest, and start building your wealth.